Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Daniel here, and we're looking at just diving right back into our game here. I don't know if you can tell, I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so I'm starting to sound pretty good here. We're just going to go right into what we're going on. So as we just recap what we did last time, we met our intrepid heroes here, and they blew up a NyQuil reactor, and we're just escaping. And we're going to run around and meet some new characters and see some new stuff and go from there, alright? So here we are, just seeing some of that, once again, nice pre-rendered background stuff that they did, with some little bit of animation on there to add some neat fire. And here we go, we've been told to go meet back at our base. So we're off. Yeah, so today I also posted a video of me and my kids playing Mega Man, the Legacy Collection. Just one of those things that I was goofing around when I was first testing out some of the recording, and a friend of mine watched the video, said it was kind of cute. I didn't mind posting it, so I thought I'd throw it up there, and if you guys like it, and you know, just let me know, and maybe we'll do some more of that with me just sitting around playing just simple games like Mega Man with, you know, my kids, just because they're goofy and cute. I've got a young 3-year-old named Joss, and a 5-year-old named Khaleesi. Yes, that's based on Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones. Yeah. So as we can see here on screen, we're meeting one of the main characters. This is the Flower Girl, or better known as Aerith, or Eris, depending on who you are. People have different opinions on that one, like there's no tomorrow. We're gonna skip through here. We're just gonna read down. You know, it's to see a wider view of some of the different parts of the city and stuff like this. It's weird, you know, this game introduced something to me that I didn't really know as a kid, because I did play other RPGs, not just Final Fantasy VII as a kid. And like, this is one of the first games I can know of that had different things than just treasure boxes. Like, you can see him standing here next to this potion here. It's a potion. Yeah, I guessed it was a potion. Yeah, like, just the fact that it was a potion and not just a treasure chest with a potion. It was one of those neat little things that happened. We're gonna fight them, because fighting's fun. Yeah. Hey, we got 333 health going on there. That's kind of neat. It's interesting how some characters and different characters carry through into other parts of the game series. Like, Shino's characters here, like the basic soldier, are very, very similar to soldiers in Final Fantasy VIII. Right? The Golbez army is similar looking, almost like an advanced version, even though there's no other connection. And it's not like, you know, with like certain characters like Cactuars or Barrows, things that are like a staple in the series that carry over. It's this kind of weird helmet design thing that we see throughout the games. And even some of this comes from 6. Like, they kind of have some lyrics to the soldiers in 6. It's one of those weird things I noticed and I always really enjoy when I'm going through and looking at the game. You know, whereas some weird similarities that I find like are not what you'd normally expect to see carried forward. It's like this weird helmet design I think has been in a lot of games from Final Fantasy franchises. Kinda not fair watching Cloud take 4 damage and then deal out almost 40. This is the first time we see an attack from both sides. And it's not a big deal, especially in the early parts of the game. I don't think there's any major consequence or any major problem with it beyond the fact we can't run. And the number of times we're running is really worth it in this game. It's not really. I mean, I guess some speedrunners do it. I watch some speedrunning, but not a ton. Except for like ADDQ, I watch. Yeah, that's kind of neat to see. Some of those games that we got, you know, I've played for 900 hours plus or whatever on this, and then you watch someone in the ADQ community rip the game apart in less than like 2 hours, I think, is some speedruns if they're using things like the Yuffie skip. But yeah, no, and here we are, we've just been fighting something, we're hopping off onto the train, making that classic getaway. So, So we'll talk a little bit more about like the channel in terms of ideas and stuff we have. Matt, like I said, is my kind of partner in crime on this idea here. He's away right now in Mexico, and we're just when he comes back, we're gonna look at doing a couple videos just of us kind of goofing around with, you know, seeing how recording works with the two of us, and maybe just play some games that are kind of co-op for a bit there and see how that goes. And eventually I think what we want to do is just have like one kind of series where I'm playing a game and he's, you know, just commenting back and forth. You know, one where he's playing and I'm commenting, and then maybe one where we play together or against each other, something along that lines. And that's going to be kind of our stick we're going to stick with for a while there, you know, and go from there. You know, and if there's any, you know, suggestions for games and stuff you guys would like to see us play, I mean, we haven't finalized on things, and then probably the first couple games we'll play will be small and short, something like that we can just kind of get into. But, you know, let us know what you guys think, if there's anything interesting you guys want to see, or any. I really like personally, when I look at games, like that I like to play, a bit of an odd taste in games, I like to find stuff that not a lot of people have played, especially when it comes to like Let's Plays and stuff. I'd love to do like a Front Mission Let's Play one day, Front Mission 4 if I had my choice, or like like the Dark Cloud series, they've got neat ones, and stuff like that. Like they're gems from my childhood that like very few people have really gone super far into. There's one called MS Saga, because I'm a big fan of giant fighting robots. That game's all about you know, Gundams, basically from the entire Gundam universe, pretty far, going from, you know, just building your own kind of custom Gundams. That way it's neat. See here, I was talking about last time a little bit of that relationship with Jesse here. Yeah, it's barely there, but it's enough to make you feel like he's connected. Hopping into the middle of the camera there. See, even look at these punk characters here, are very interesting. And all the big blocky graphics here, offset against the hyper-realistic train parts. So basically all we're doing is we're heading back to our hideout here, and then from there we're going to be setting up another mission, possibly. Going from there. For some of you may not know, this is Biggs and Wedge here. They are characters that have they kind of shown up in a couple different things, kind of like how Sid has shown up in a couple different things. You know, his character just carries through as a kind of a story idea, and being around. You can hear my voice going a little bit, so I'm gonna have a big sip of my. I got a tea I'm drinking out of a Mega Man Buster mug. Much better. Yeah, see some more of those pre-rendered graphics here. Looking at the model of Midgar. And he's just kind of explaining how there's, you know, basically there's two kind of cities. One floating on this kind of upper crust and one on the lower crust. That's kind of dying away. Basically what we're seeing here. And showing us that we're going on our train down to the lower levels. Talking about how we're going to be using fake IDs to get around. Things like that. Speak of the devil, here we go. Flashing red lights. It was so much fun. Imagine that on a real train nowadays, how nerve-wracking that would be. They'd just be sitting there and all of a sudden there's flashing red lights just because they're checking IDs. And then a blinding white light at the end of it. Well, I think we get to see some more of that beautiful graphics coming up. Yeah, the game overall is just it's one of the more interesting settings that Final Fantasy has. I mean, you think through the entire series, it's probably the least you know, kind of medieval out of most of them. 13's kind of similar in that respect, and you know, even 8 is still that way, but this is really like one of the most futuristic look feeling games in my opinion. Even like 13, which it obviously has far more technology and stuff like that, also has a large amount of like wilds later on in the game if you can get far enough into it. You know, 13's an interesting case. It's a game that a lot of people have legitimate criticism of, and a lot of people have illegitimate criticism of. Look, the major hallway issue that people have with that game really isn't that big of an issue in most situations. You sit back and that's not really the main problem I had with the game. The main problem with the game is that it was, at least from a story standpoint, very incoherent. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can just sit there, you can decipher it, right? Like, you can figure out all the LC and FLC and all that junk. It does make sense eventually, but when you consider what we're looking at here in Final Fantasy VII so far, right? Think about this being the equivalent of getting to the point where you become a FLC, even just a tutorial type area. We know what the Mako reactor is. We know what that is. Even though it's not a real word like FLC, right? Mako, it's still pretty straightforward. It's not hard to grasp the idea of it just being a power source, oil, if you want to look at it like that, pretty much. And then it loses something when it's got this big convoluted word salad of nonsense. You can see me, I'm saving for the first time, I think, here. You know, this is my first time doing recordings. I did something oh so intelligent and did not save and haven't been able to touch my PS3 since our last recording here. Let's just sit there and we'll head off. This is one of those, you know, as a kid, I really enjoyed the idea of being this bar as their headquarters. You know, I play a lot of D&D now, and I thoroughly enjoy that. And if you guys ever want to hear me, you know, war stories about characters and things like that, I can gladly go into that stuff. But just the idea of like the tavern being a bar, being like your headquarters, my main characters tend to run a bar. It's like I spend money on it. That's one of the things I always do is they set up in a bar in a city they're working in as a headquarters for our group. Not just staying at an inn, but owning it and managing it and stuff like that. No, I never really looked at the arcade machine there. It's hiding, like, it's pretty obvious there's a secret base under there, right? Like, never thought about how clearly, like, you can see the light coming from underneath. I mean, it's clearly that's what it is, but I mean, I never really thought about it. So here we're meeting one of the main characters. This is actually my favorite character in the game. This is Tifa. Not gonna lie, young little Daniel's heart would go pitter-patter because of Tifa. She was my crush as a kid. And not for the obvious reason some people think. I just really like the idea of this kick-ass kind of awesome girl that can fight and go from there. Yeah, so and then I have to admit, as a kid, I also didn't fully put together who Marlene was. That she was supposed to be Barrett's daughter, really. You know, she says Papa. I just remember skimming over it. Just thought she was kind of like the bar they all kind of looked after. I didn't realize it was straight supposed to be Barrett's. Was the one looking after. And then, like, if you don't really need the elevator, why have it? Give me something hard. Why not? Let's get crowd drunk. Yeah. And it's like the fact that they couldn't animate the glass sliding across. Just shows, like, it's weird. This game was such a, in some ways, technical marvel, yet nowadays, looking back at so many small things that I know they could have done even then, that just, they didn't. And it's wonder why. Is asking if there's anyone we fought from Soldier. Once again, talking about Soldier, they're kind of supposed to be the best of the best that Shinra had to offer. implying that they're so bad and stuff like that, and how they would have been there. And I do thoroughly, personally, once in a while I'll find something in a game like this where if you just don't press a button, someone does a repetitive action for a very long time for no good reason. Personal favorite right now is from Pokemon Sun and Moon, the Team Skull guys doing their little dance there for like 5 minutes if you don't touch anything. It's pretty funny. So just learning that we, not working for Shinra anymore, and just asking if they, can get along. Cloud and Barrett here. It's one of those things that I don't know how long I expected the kind of fervor between them go for, but it basically dies off real quick. And Cloud becomes much more humanized in a fairly quick way here in some respects. It's one of my main complaints about like Final Fantasy VIII. While I think Squall is a cool enough character, he really just is not, never really that likable in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, like I said, he's cool enough, and like, as weird and dumb as the Gunblade is, I'm, definitely thought it was a neat idea. But it just, it doesn't, he never really becomes a real character for me throughout that entire game. I mean, the character that's shown up in other stuff, like in, Kingdom Hearts and stuff, he was interesting. I mean, it gives more weight to the character. Here we're being asked by Tifa to, to become part of Avalanche as opposed to kind of just doing freelance work here and learning a little bit that she's a childhood friend. And just, dealing with that and whether or not they actually are friends. Because that gets a little complicated as, like I said, I hinted at before, there's a little bit more to Cloud than meets the eye. See, I think this is the scene that I always remember loving that blue sky there. And they're painted on faces. So, I often wonder when I'm sat down and decided we were trying to do a Let's Play channel and stuff like that. I watch a couple channels that I really enjoy, and then sometimes it's about finding a game that I really enjoy, and how I can take a show that, like a channel that I really like, and watch a game that I don't really like and still get through it. Yet take a game that I really like and barely get through it with a channel that I don't like, and that's why I think I wanted to do this a little bit, was there are games that I want to play that I couldn't find someone playing that I really liked. I was kind of talking about it before, how they were like specific. I have a bit of an oddball at tasting games. But it's, it'll be interesting to see what kind of games I think we get around to. I know Matt wants me to play a lot of games I didn't play as a kid, so he'll probably throw me into some sports games and stuff like that. But I just want to find a good, I'm a big fan of RPGs, I like to dive into something weird. I'm always a big fan of giant mecha fighting. Xenogears is another really great one that I'd love to play one day. Here you can just see them kind of, the two here, talking about Sephiroth and growing up and stuff like that, and how they want to look after each other and such. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what kind of games we come up with. Because there's also things like I'm a big Mega Man fan game. We'll probably, like I said, you'll see me and my kids probably play some more Mega Man at some point soon. But we'll also be looking at like Mega Man Legends is another series that I thoroughly enjoyed as a kid. That level of exploration is fantastic in that game, and it's just very charming. And sadly, I don't know if we're ever going to get another one. They've unfortunately put poor Mega Man out to pasture, in my opinion. He's been in more crossover games now than actual Mega Man Legends games, so don't know if that's going anywhere anytime soon. So here we're being convinced to go on one more mission, just that one more mission. So once again, another thing that they didn't animate anything for. They were just using like sounds. Marilyn's schooling. And that classic in noise. Yeah, some great music in this game. Some of my absolute favorite in video game history. I never knew that skull back there is really supposed to be like Avalanche's symbol, and it's not really used in anything else. Make a crude joke there. And this is where we're actually going to learn a little bit materia. I don't know if I can skip this. If I can, I will. Because I'd rather just show you as I use it. You wouldn't understand. Yeah, you're dumb. Don't worry about it. Okay, so yeah, we do get to check out the materia system, which is my absolute favorite system in any Final Fantasy. Just the complexity of the building, you know, combos and stuff like that. We're actually going to take a quick look at it. Here's our materia. So you can see here, we've got kind of two spheres that represent two different spells. There's our lightning, there's our ice. You'll notice what it's attached to. It's attached to our weapon, which is a Buster Sword. And kind of you notice how there's these two different slots. We can move one around. Okay, not that you can tell much from there. We also notice that they're connected. Right? That comes in play way later when we've got other stuff to connect with it. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to set Cloud up with my favorite combinations. Cloud's going to have our Bolt and Lightning, because I always feel like he's a little more lightning-ier. And we're going to toss Ice on Tifa. And we're going to walk around. This is one of those games where magic was cool. I don't actually end up using it a whole lot in terms of... like I said, this game doesn't require a whole lot of grinding, so... You kind of find that magic is fun, but not always necessary when you build it out properly. Here we're going to buy some stuff here. Let's see what we got. Fire we're going to buy one of. We're going to buy another restore, and I think we're going to hold off on that for now. Yeah, I'm not... By all means, I'm not some optimum player. I don't have a route or anything like that I've got planned. I just know that I like to have one of each, and I got an extra cure, which I'm going to toss on Barrett, which I believe all I have to do is... last time we picked up the assault gun. Basically, the equivalent of the Buster Sword for Barrett, in terms of actually what it does for you. It gives you that extra slot. And we'll throw that restore on there. The things on them that I'm equipping, not only do they give you the increase in spell abilities, they also affect your stats. And as a kid, didn't realize that really at all. I knew it was probably something like that, but I never actually looked into what it was. So I didn't learn for the longest time that magic does lower your attack. It increases your magic, which I wasn't using as a kid. But yeah, it does affect a lot of things. We're gonna grab 3 of these. Alright, we do get some extra slots. Okay, we're not gonna go buy more magic, because I don't think we need it. But we are going to remember that and check it out after. As a kid, I also didn't even know this place existed, and I only wanted to go in here to kind of talk about that. This is like a tutorial area where you can ask simple questions about how things are done and how you get using items and all this stuff like that. Save points. I'm stuck here. There we go. I'm not going to talk to them because we don't... Oh, I think there is a cure materia here. Oh, all materia. So this is a cool one. Like I said, once again, as a kid, didn't know this was here. Kind of forgot what was in there to begin with. But this is where I can show you how this is going to work. So we got lightning, right, because that's the ability to shock people, which will hit one dude. Now, if we unequip that and equip the all materia, what it does is the materia in this slot, and it doesn't matter which one I put it in, left or right, it gives an effect to what it's attached to. So all lightning. So when I cast this now, it will hit everyone on the opposing team, as opposed to a single person. Pretty handy, obviously. You know, hitting lots of dudes is sometimes better than hitting a single. I do think it believes, yeah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it does cut some of the damage apart throughout them. I'm not too worried about that, because magic for me, like most of the time, hitting dudes, like all dudes, is kind of what I want it for. Here we go. Everyone's kind of running around. We're gonna go and head out on our second mission here. I'm gonna save here. Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit longer. We're just gonna go till basically the next save point I find, I think. Today. Yeah, we saved. So yeah, you know, all in all, it's you know, one of my favorite openers to a game series in terms of this really is an area that you feel for quite some time that this could be the whole game, right? Spending time in Midgar, like Midgar is a big portion of me that I can remember, and we do open up obviously later on. And I think when I look at 13's problems they had, because I do think 13 was them looking at some of the favorite games like 7 and wanting to capture what people liked about it, and I think they tried to do that, but it took too long and didn't hit some of the right notes. Because for example, Lightning is a character that in my opinion is actually really cool. I love a female main character, I really do. I think that's always awesome. And she's got, you know, cool hairstyle, neat looking uniform, and, you know, one of the cooler weapons for what it is. You know, it's a switchblade kind of thing. Sorry, 1 second, we have some more tea here. As my voice is once again disintegrating into dust. And she's very cool, but it just doesn't seem to carry all the same weight. Just gonna cough here for a second. It just doesn't carry that same weight a lot of the characters. Even she was, you know, she was great. But the story in that beginning there, not quite standing up to the story in this one, and not having the same charm. Like, I feel like 13 was really lacking in charm. And just didn't have that great, you know, hook of the characters. I will say that I do think that 13, when you step back and look at it, has some of the most interesting weapon designs. Like I said, that idea of like a machine gun, switchblade, or like butterfly knife kind of design, that's awesome. I still think it's one of the best weapons in the series. And even like, there's that one lady who has these kind of like, she has that staff that also has like weird string antler bead things. It's a very interesting weapon. It's very unique. You know, Zaz's got his guns that click together. You know, it's pretty cool in that respect. But you can't have just weapons be cool. Your characters have to have a lot here as well. Here we're being told that basically we're going to be doing the same kind of stuff, dealing with a bunch of different stuff and showing us the map, and we're heading off to our second mission. Not a lot to really talk about it, so we're just going to take a look here. But yeah, I don't know. That game was hit and miss. It's the same thing like, once again, when we talked a little bit about before, 15 is not a game I've played for very long, and I'll say almost criminally so. I did not get very far in it, and I think it's honestly because, once again, it's an action title, and I don't ever felt like I had control of my full party. Wasn't a huge fan. Here, something's going wrong, obviously, right? It looks like the fake IDs that we were given are not quite working, and we need to make sure we're making it to extra stuff. Someone's going to try and rob us here, but we were smart and used almost all of our gil, and so when the guy who's going to steal some of our gil coming up, I don't think he steals anything important at that point because we've spent most of it. Barrett's big and fat in my way. Yeah, there we go. See this guy here. That guy's going to steal stuff. I don't care, you stole stuff from me. Get stuck on someone there. And here we are. See, I'm stuck behind people. you know, these trains are cool, but it's kind of a weird camera angle and